Before we get into the video, could everyone please subscribe to my FXmovies.20 channel? Thank you so much. I acknowledge that approaching it differently was an unfamiliar experience. He wounded me profoundly, affecting my very essence. But you know what, dear? My father-in-law, an experienced individual, exercised great caution, and regrettably, I developed a strong affinity for it. Desiring ever more what led me to this point. Remain calm and attentive, as the information I am going to disclose will astonish you. If you have ever experienced the allure of transgressing the boundary between righteousness and prohibition, then you will comprehend my perspective. Continue to listen, since this narrative may mirror our true selves, even if we have yet to recognize it. We were on holiday at Nathan's parents' residence. The ambience in their home was inviting, although the manner in which his father regarded me was perplexing. I initially regarded it with indifference. Ultimately, what significance could it hold? He was his father, my father-in-law. But circumstances rapidly altered. One afternoon, Nathan ventured out to reunite with some childhood acquaintances. His parents were also out visiting remote relatives. I remained solitary in the house, utilizing the opportunity to unwind. But shortly thereafter, I heard the sound of a vehicle entering the driveway. Upon looking out the window, I observed his father, Al, alighting from the car. He returned so promptly that I pondered, perplexed. Upon his arrival, he elucidated that he had neglected to bring certain essential items and that he would depart once more in the morning. "Do not be concerned, I shall not disturb you," he stated, smiling benevolently. Unintentionally, we found ourselves nearly solitary that evening. This was my inaugural visit to my in-laws, and I remained somewhat uneasy. I deemed it prudent to remain in Nathan's room to circumvent any uncomfortable situations. However, I thereafter heard a gentle knock on the door. "Hannah, join us for dinner," his father called from the opposite side, his tone kind and quite affectionate. I paused briefly but ultimately emerged. I was unable to decline the invitation without appearing impolite. During supper, I endeavored to maintain neutrality, although he disrupted the silence in an unforeseen manner. "Are you feeling uncomfortable here?" he inquired, his tone gentle yet straightforward. I halted momentarily. "No, perhaps to a slight extent. I am simply unaccustomed to it," I responded. He nodded, his gaze directed at me. "I comprehend. Nevertheless, I wish to convey that you may feel at ease here. No one will pass judgment on you," he stated. His reply amazed me. It appeared authentic, and for the first time, I experienced a slight sense of relaxation. Our dialogue progressed, gradually becoming more intimate. "Nathan is fortunate to have you," he remarked. "It is rare to find someone who comprehends him as you do." I experienced a little flush accompanied by uneasy laughter. "Thank you, he is also well. He has treated me kindly." However, he made a remark that prompted our reflection. As I occasionally believe he does not appreciate you as he ought to, his remarks instilled additional uncertainty in me. What did he intend by that? "May I inquire about something?" I inquired, attempting to appear nonchalant as he regarded me with curiosity, leaning forward. "Of course, tell me, has Nathan ever disclosed anything about me that I am unaware of?" I asked, chuckling uncomfortably as if it were a joke, although deep down I was earnest. I sought an answer. His smile diminished slightly, and after a little hesitation, he responded, "Perhaps, but if I disclose it, you must share something about him that I am unaware of." Agreed. I remained silent, contemplating his idea. It was peculiar yet intriguing. "Agreed, deal," I remarked. He took his time in responding, as though deliberating the extent of his engagement. "Nathan is a commendable individual. However, he has consistently harbored fear since childhood, particularly regarding making definitive choices, whether related to his future profession or preferred sport. This apprehension likely contributes to his earnest efforts in your relationship, as he fears that failing to do so may lead you to recognize the possibility of being with someone more suitable." His words astonished me. They were not what I anticipated, yet something in his tone instilled trust. "Are you serious?" I inquired, feeling a pang of insecurity. "Absolutely," he responded, "but that doesn't imply he doesn't love you. Fear can compel us to behave in ways we fail to comprehend." Now it was my turn, and a lump formed in my throat. I was reluctant to utter anything that might alienate him from his son, yet I also wished to uphold the agreement. "Well," I said, carefully selecting my words, "sometimes I feel as though Nathan doesn't truly listen to me. He is physically present but not entirely engaged." His gaze fixed on mine, scrutinizing every word. "That sounds like him," he finally remarked, "but it shouldn't be that way with you. You are special, you deserve more." I attempted to shift the topic, but he would not permit it. "It is your turn," he stated, his voice subdued to nearly a whisper. "Disclose to me some undisclosed fact regarding Nathan." I sensed the atmosphere get denser. There were numerous matters I had never disclosed to Nathan, although I questioned the necessity of revealing them now. I was uncertain whether I owned anything of value to express. "Yes," I responded, attempting to evade the inquiry. "We all possess something," he insisted, edging closer to me. His proximity elicited a blend of apprehension and an unacknowledged sentiment that I was reluctant to confess. I ultimately expressed that I occasionally perceived Nathan as still being childish. Immediately upon articulating this, I experienced regret, unable to comprehend the rationale behind my statement. His eyes shimmered with an inscrutable emotion. I remarked somewhat anxiously that I had divulged sufficient truths for the day. "If we continued, you might extract all my secrets, but would that be so detrimental?" He responded with humor to alleviate the tension, then leaned forward, resting his elbows on the table. "Let's make this more intriguing. If you choose not to disclose the truth, you must perform a task in return to ensure fairness. I will do the same, something to a dare determined by the other person," he stated. "But rest assured, I am not excessively cruel." His proposition astonished me. During my childhood, I engaged in this game with my pals. If we failed to disclose the truth, we faced a penalty, albeit the dares were innocuous. I aimed to avoid being impolite. Nevertheless, given that it was my father-in-law, I chose to accept with trepidation. He posed the initial inquiry, "Have you ever desired to depart, San?" Nathan inquired. I remained motionless and quiet. I was aware that I ought not to respond, although I was reluctant to engage in an embarrassing act. I remarked, attempting to maintain a jovial tone, and he grinned victoriously, stating, "Then you must either fulfill a dare or provide me with 100 pesos. I extracted a bill from my wallet and laid it on the table, giggling uncomfortably. "Here you go, happy now?" I inquired. "It's a start," he responded, pocketing the bill with a smile that evoked a peculiar blend of discomfort and thrill within me. I attempted to redirect the conversation to a less sensitive subject by asking, "What is the most outrageous thing you have done for someone you love?" He paused briefly before responding, "Once I resigned from my job to cohabit with someone I believed was worth it, but I was mistaken." His response astonished me, however, I refrained from probing more. When it was his turn again, he said, "Have you ever felt attracted to someone you shouldn't?" My pulse halted. I recognized the perilous nature of the question, but I could not evade it without arousing suspicion. I opted to pass, I stated promptly. "All right," he responded with a smirk, "but this time no money. Perform an action that demonstrates your superior bravery compared to mine." "Such as what?" I inquired apprehensively. He laughed, gazed at me carefully, then stood and approached. It astonished me. I endeavored to conceive an idea that would not transgress any boundaries, yet my mind became vacant. Ultimately, I made an impetuous decision. I approached him, seized the wine glass from his hand, and consumed from it. He maintained eye contact and observed me silently before stating, "Impressive, acceptable, although I can yet surpass you." During my turn, I inadvertently omitted a question and proceeded directly to the dare. "Traverse to the kitchen with your eyes closed and locate the sugar jar. Should you fail, you will compensate me with double the amount I provided." He acquiesced, chuckling, yet requested my guidance. At that moment, I sensed his hands on my shoulders as we proceeded toward the kitchen together. His contact was not casual. There was a deeper significance in the manner in which he embraced me. My heart. I raced, not sure if it was the challenge or something else. During his turn, he suggested an idea I had never anticipated: truth or dare. "Truth," I responded swiftly, attempting to maintain composure, yet his inquiry thoroughly unsettled me. "What is your favorite position when you engage in that?" My heart raced and unease coursed through me. I was incredulous at the words I was hearing. I replied instinctively, hoping to evade the question, but I made a critical error. Due to his failure to anticipate the subsequent events, he appeared unfazed. His smile broadened and his voice deepened, as if he relished my decision. "Consequently, you must undertake a dare for me." What did I articulate? My voice quivered with anxiety, apprehensive of the impending outcome. As he leaned closer to me, his gaze locked onto mine as he responded with unsettling composure, stating that since I refused to disclose the information, I must either replicate that situation with him or compensate him double what I previously offered. He was astutely employing my own strategy against me. My mind momentarily froze and my surroundings seemed to vanish. I questioned whether I was truly hearing this. I stood speechless, fear and confusion vying for dominance. I was reluctant to continue the game, yet uncertain how to extricate myself without inciting conflict. I resolved to terminate the game and distance myself from such perilous circumstances. However, he produced 500 pesos from his wallet and placed them on the table with disconcerting composure. "If you do it, I'll pay," he stated softly, yet with unmistakable authority. My mind grappled with the dichotomy of right and wrong. It was 500 pesos, and I merely had to simulate the act. Ultimately, an internal compulsion urged me to accept the dare. The choice was reached, however, accompanied by a significant surge of adrenaline. I rose with shaky hands and approached him, deliberately aware that retreat was not an option. I positioned myself above him, averting my look, my body rigid with tension. "I possess two preferred positions," I stated, my voice scarcely perceptible. "This is one of them." I persisted in leaning my utterance, yet my words had already escaped, ensnaring me in this predicament. When I attempted to evade his gaze, he grasped my hands and our eyes converged. It was a transient moment, but within that brief connection, I sensed a profound shift. The tension was tangible and my heart raced. He leaned closer, kissing me, and in that instant, the dynamics between us transformed, an alteration difficult to overlook. Although I was unaware of how to halt it, it became a torrent of sensations, and the formerly harmless game intensified to a new level. The subsequent events were characterized by sheer intensity. My father-in-law possessed remarkable experience. We were engulfed by emotions, cognizant of the impropriety, yet the exhilaration of the moment rendered all else inconsequential. For an extended duration, I was reluctant to relocate due to the profound presence of the man within me. Never in my life had I encountered such magnificent trees, larger than I had envisioned while believing I had experienced everything. He demonstrated his preferred position. It was a surge of adrenaline. I recognized that my association with Nathan had led me to repress numerous urges and emotions. His father was distinctly unique. To clarify, I can only convey this. He dropped a coin on the ground and requested that I get it. For inexplicable reasons, I was unable to grasp that coin. Whenever I extended my hand towards it, an electric current surged through me. There was no opportunity for contemplation or hesitation. There was no possibility of retreat as I was present when everything concluded. I sat on the ground, embracing my knees, acutely aware of my shattered heart throbbing as though it wanted to flee my chest. I could not disregard the occurrence. A part of me exhaled contentedly, nearly appreciative of its intensity. Yet then emerged that alarming contemplation. Nathan materialized in my thoughts, his eyes brimming with trust. Remorse assailed me, frigid and unyielding. I sought to rationalize my actions. It was merely a game. Yet I was acutely aware that it was more than that. I recognized it the moment I crossed that threshold. At that point, everything unraveled. The alarming inquiry was not regarding my past actions, but rather my forthcoming decisions. That evening, everything changed irrevocably. Thereafter, my father-in-law attempted to engage with me once again, although I was unable to meet his gaze without experiencing self-reproach. What was once exhilarating has now become a sad reminder of treachery. Nathan remains unaware, yet both he and I comprehend the situation. It was a significant error, a scar that will remain forever. He stated his intention to attempt to mend the connection between the husband and wife. However, we both recognize its near impossibility. It is possible that you believe either I or him is at fault. Nonetheless, we both share responsibility. Our decisions not only impacted us but also obliterated something far more significant, a family. What persists is this onerous burden that is difficult to relinquish. Have you ever transgressed such a boundary? What actions would you take if a secret of this nature jeopardized everything you hold dear? I will review your comments, and if you appreciated the story, please like this video and subscribe to Cheater's Confessions to continue exploring the most peculiar tales of infidelity. Till next time.